You're welcome back to Morning Express. Now let's turn our attention to other election matters. Where in Abia State, the local government polls held recently drew a lot of attention and controversies. Well, at this point, to share their thoughts with us on the outcome of the elections, we're being joined by Don Norman Obinna, who is the Abia State Chairman, African Democratic Congress, as well as Mr. Sampson, who is a public affairs analyst and a public affairs commentator as well. They're both joining in from Umuahia, the Abia State capital. Hello and a very warm morning to you. You're welcome to Morning Express.
Good morning to you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining in. Don Norman Obinna, it's wonderful to have you join us on the program. Let's first talk about the outcome of the polls, starting off with you. How would you describe the situation in Abia following the elections? I mean, it was seamless at first, and unlike in other states where we saw a turnout of violence and all, it appears that Abia conducted theirs in a very calm manner. Do you share the same thoughts? Well, Mr. Sampson, I believe you can hear me. Let me start off with you first. If you heard my question earlier, Mr. Sampson, let me get your thoughts or reaction following the local government polls that held in Abia on Saturday.
Well, like you said, it was very peaceful. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Right. So the election was very peaceful. There was no loss of life, no record of violence. But it might have issues when we talk about the fairness and the credibility of the exercise.
Yes.
It was quite peaceful. The turnout very low. We had talked about a possible apathy, which later became the order of the day. People didn't actually turn out to vote. In some polling units, we're seeing 150 persons, 40, 50, thereabouts. You could see people, youths playing football. Yes, there was restriction movement, but then as the day progressed, people started opening their shops, going about their businesses. You know, the assumption that the local government election would always be the way it's going to be. So that lived with the people for a very long time, and there was no change in attitude. The turnout was very low. Maybe if they had a massive turnout, maybe something untoward would have happened. But now, as it happened, there was no violence, no report of breakdown of law and order at all.
Well, let's talk about the situation that many people have been hinged on, talking about the fact that a different political party, the Zenith Labour Party, won 15 out of the 17 local government chairmanship seats in the state, in a state where the governor is a Labour Party candidate. Do you think that there might have been some sort of ulterior motive behind this landslide win by a party that is considered unpopular in your state?
Yes, you know the problem in Labour Party at the moment, the Julius Abure issue, the Alex Oti, Peter Obi, the NEC versus the MWC of the Labour Party.
Yes.
So it looked quite creepy, and as we got closer to the election, the option available to the state government was to replicate what Fubara did, secure the ground first. Political strategy, if you ask me, secure the ground first. The governor needed to secure the ground by having his men contest the election. Then they can progress to the next level of the conversation. So it was a Labour Party backed Zenith Labour Party, or Governor Alex Oti backed Zenith Labour Party, because the list of the people that contested under Zenith Labour Party were the original list that Labour Party's faction of Alex Oti wanted to use. So it was an arrangement they had, and the governor made it clear, go and vote for anyone of your choice. But he was smart enough not to tell anybody to vote for Zenith Labour Party. I'm sure the Abu's team waited to hear that, but they didn't hear that. So that threw a lot of opportunities. Then YPP won 2 local governments.
Yes.
What's on the streets has it that it could have been an arrangement from the ruling party, to add that coloration, to add that color to the whole arrangement. So YPP won 2 local governments, and those local governments that they won were the original local government that YPP only won during the governorship election. You understand?
Well, I do. Okay, carry on.
There is no confusion. There is no confusion anywhere here, except that people are saying, or people are speculating, why was it not possible for the governor to fix the problem in his party ahead of that election? But since that did not happen, I'm sure they are still talking and they are in court. Maybe now that they have secured the ground, the governor has his men as local government chairman. Even in YPP, they are all governors' men. So they can move to the next level, governors. But was there any difference from the election we had here and what we had in other places? Absolutely no. It could have been 17/17, like it's 44/44 in Kano, or 27/27 in Anambra. So it could have been like that. But this was quite it's a neatly arranged.
Well, Mr. Sampson, I like the fact that you kept mentioning the fact that it was an arrangement by the governor to secure his men who were part of the Labour Party, vying for the chairmanship positions in the state. If the governor has sent them out to the Zenith Labour Party now to contest, and they have won 15 states, what is the next move for the governor? Is he joining the Zenith Labour Party, or are we seeing a migration to an entirely different party that is not the Labour Party, nor is it the Zenith Labour Party?
I don't speak for the governor.
But well, in your opinion as an analyst, what do you think perhaps could be the next move?
The governor has maintained that he's still a member of the Labour Party. But you know the crisis in Labour Party, and the crisis of a political party becomes hugely manifest close to election. As it is now, I think it's safer for the governor to stay where he is and then look at the coast. As the tide goes, he will weigh his options. Maybe swing to the pendulum if he can mend fences with the National Working Committee. But with all that went down and the arrest of the Southeast Vice Chairman of Labour Party on the orders of the faction loyal to the governor, I think a lot of issues may have gone under the bridge. Are these things beyond reconciliation? You never can trust politicians. They can always have a meeting ground. But as it stands now, the governor has said he's a member of the Labour Party.
Mr. Sampson,
the chairman of the Zenith Labour Party.
Yes. Well, I would have to hold you there. I'm still going to come back to you to get more thoughts on other issues surrounding the elections. I think we're being joined now by Don Norman Obinna, who is the Abia State chairman of the African Democratic Congress. Hello, if you can hear me, Don. A very good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother. It's my pleasure to be with you.
It's wonderful to have you join us on Morning Express. Very quickly, let's talk about the elections that held in your state. You as the state chairman of the ADC, how would you describe the recently concluded local government polls in your state?
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. I will sit before you here, and I wouldn't want to generalize Escrita. I will have to say it the way it is. there was no election in Abia State. I am speaking not just as I'm not speaking as an analyst. I am speaking as a stakeholder because I'm a chairman of an opposition party in Abia State. Now, everything started when the governor announced gave a notice for the local government election in last month. A lot of things happened. From there, we knew that the governor wasn't going to conduct a credible election, or will I say there will never be an election in Abia State. I wrote a letter. I withdrew I withdrew from that contest. My party withdrew from that election. We wrote a letter to the ABSEC, indicating our interest not to be part of the election because of some certain reasons. One, the governor went behind everybody to the House of Assembly and amended the Abia State electoral law. There was never a public debate. It was never discussed. We only came to hear about it because a notice was given to us. And we were given just 7 days to conduct primaries and provide candidates. Who does that? How will you use 7 days to get your candidates and also conduct primary elections? So a lot of people went out of that election. Now, I listened to Sampson say that the election in Abia State was peaceful. I don't understand what it means by being peaceful. People did not even turn out in that election in the first place. How can you say that the election was peaceful when ABSEC officials were sent to polling units without, result sheet? Who does that? People voted. Although there was apathy, people voted, but there was no result sheet to record the outcome of the election. So what the governor did was, they sat behind and began to inflict numbers. There was apathy. Even in the local governorship election in Hanot, for example, the total number of votes cast then was about 30,000. But ABSEC recorded over 70,000 votes, for the General Labour Party. Then you ask, who were these people that actually voted? Who were these people that actually voted? There was no election in Abia State.
Don Norman, he mentioned earlier that the governor had specifically asked local government chairmanship aspirants of the Labour Party to transition to the Zenith Labour Party, a party that was created purposefully for the purpose of what it was used for in the elections. Don't you think that maybe supporters of these chairmanship candidates who were supposed to vote for Labour Party were the ones who channeled their votes to the Zenith Labour Party? Couldn't that have been the case?
The last speaker said that there was a voter party in Abia State. So if there were a voter party in Abia State, who were these 70,000 people that voted?
There are contradictions here. Now, I think at this point it's best to bring Mr. Sampson back online so that he can, react to this. Mr. Sampson, if you can hear me, can you say something?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Don Norman here has said that in contrast to what you mentioned, that there was voter apathy in the elections in Abia State, he saw a number that was way higher than the number of registered voters for the local government polls. How would you react to this? Which of the statements should we believe, yours or Don's statements?
Well, I am on ground. I live in Abia and I monitor the election. I'm a journalist. I drove around Umuahia, and then I have my reporters who were in different places. So we have situation report. The apathy was at a very high level, and it's not like something anybody should even doubt. But he may have his own information, which I respect. I spoke from the point of my own observation. I tell you, the turnout was low. You see, this assumption that local government election is the governor's thing hasn't changed. And we need to encourage Nigerians to have a rethink, because it gets down to every facet of our electoral process. You don't boycott the process. They will shave your head in your absence. That's the whole message. But whether the turnout was low or not, I tell you, it's a general consensus. The turnout was incredibly something not anything we can even talk about. was very low. People were not interested, actually.
So if the turnout was
Then
low, how
the
would you describe the results of the elections that Don Norman is saying was an outrageous amount or an outrageous figure compared to the turnout?
If the turnout was low, and then you having numbers higher than what you have in the general election,
yes,
it's questionable. I align with him.
Okay.
I align with him completely.
All right, let me come back to you, Don Norman. We've gotten our take from Sampson. You made a statement earlier that the governor went behind everybody's back to the State House of Assembly and made changes to the state's electoral law. Do you mind sharing these changes that were done to the state electoral law, and how do you think it has affected the outcome of the local government polls that just held on Saturday?
Yes, according to Abia State electoral law, political parties should be given 90 days to prepare for that election.
Okay.
But the governor went behind the whole political parties, and it was amended to 30 days without the political parties, without debate anywhere, without public debate. Like I keep saying, the governor has turned the Abia State House of Assembly as the extension of the Abia State government house, where they do everything they want to do arbitrarily without considering the people. The Zen Labour Party or Labour Party, was not the only party that was supposed to be part of this election. We have 19 political parties in Abia State. All of the political parties should be given equal opportunity to participate in that election. The governor of Abia State never did that. Like I was saying before, even during the election, there was also violence. There was a clash between the deputy governor and the member representing Aroch or Ohafia local government, or Ohafia local government. We are told that the Ohafia local government House of Assembly representative member refused the imposition of the candidates, and the way the election, was being conducted. He was molested by the deputy governor. He was beaten, and as I speak to you, he is still in the police cell. This is the kind of democracy we have in Abia State. So there's no way we can sit down here and begin to say there was election in Abia State. There was no resources anywhere. Resources were withheld, elections were written, and before you know it, somebody got 70,000 votes in a local government I belong to. Even in the whole of the gubernatorial elections, even presidential election, we've never had such number in Omahia North before. The last election, Governor Lesotho won Omahia North election with 20,000 votes, considering the number of people that came out to vote that day. But now you have people play ball on the street. I didn't even vote. I didn't even come out to vote. A lot of people, we are sitting there. Some are playing draft. Some are also, gisting, drinking. And a few people voted, and the ABSEC came out with such closer number of, voters. And my question is, where did they get it from? The answer is simple. They sat down and imputed the figures because there was no election in Abia State. My brother Sampson also talked about the Labour Party and Labour Party. The question we should be asking ourselves here is, who is the person who actually caused the problem in the Labour Party? It is the governor, because he tried to remove the National Working Committee of the party.
Yes,
that led to the crisis you have. But now is this: do we call that a proper democratically elected, or would I say, will you say that is a democratic way of doing something? It is not true. Like I always say, I want to agree with something that the governors in Nigeria have made that election, a local government election, their own way of thing, in a way of hitting their preferred candidates. There was no primaries. As at the time the governor even sent his men to Labour Party, the time frame for registration of candidates has elapsed. According to the date, the time the ABSEC gave us. So the thing elapsed. Did they adjust it? They did not adjust it. So the thing is that everything was a sham, my brother. I will just call the election sham. There was no election. The governor conducted an election just to ensure that the CBN, we told that the state Jack allocation. That is what it is. And as you speak, these are selected members. Therefore, me, they are still transition chairman because democracy never took place in that election.
Well, Don, you have rightly made a point here. From your perspective as a major stakeholder, being the state party chairman of the ADC, let me come back to you, Mr. Sampson. Let's talk about not just the local government polls now, but local government autonomy, which has been quite a very big issue in most states in Nigeria, especially with state governors who are adamant about implementing the ruling of the Supreme Court granting autonomy to local government areas or local government councils. In states like Abia, do you think that the provision of autonomy for these local government councils is actually real, considering the fact that somehow the governor still has a grip on the outcome of elections in the state, where he has ordered his men, like you mentioned, to move to the ZLP to contest for elections, and they won. So what are we looking at?
Well, we're hoping that something will change because as it is at the moment, nothing has changed. The governor has been running the local government system with a caretaker option, what they call the mayors around here. I don't know whether there is a place for it in the constitution, but then said by the Supreme Court. But you see, an autonomy without going through the constitution to change some of these things. You can't have a local government autonomy and have the House of Assembly legislate on affairs. So how much how much of attachment that these lawmakers at the state levels have with their government. Most of them are like the apron string of the government house. They take orders from the government house. As much as the state assemblies would legislate on matters affecting the local government, it's always going to be an issue. Where before the election, there was speculation here that there was a piece of legislation, an executive bill sent to the state assembly that will mandate the local government to remit 90% of their funds to a particular account that will be controlled by a body that will be set up by that very bill. That has been denied by the state assembly. The governor has equally come out to say there is nothing like that. But lately, there was a bill passed, a bill that seeks to have a joint option where the local government can contribute a counterpart funding to a ramp project. A ramp project, the Rural Access Restoration Project, where they can collectively pool funds together for construction of roads domiciled within the local government. And it looks quite unclear whether that is what they were referring to, I mean the opposition members.
Yes.
But as these local government chairmen had just taken oath of office, we are wondering how they are going to handle their affairs, whether they will get their funds directly, as stipulated by the Supreme Court. We're watching, and our eyes are on the state assembly, the local government chairman, and the executive. I wouldn't want to preempt them, but we're watching.
All right. Thank you so much, Sampson. Let me get back to you, Don, if you're still on the line. Let's talk about the comments made by the chairman of ABSEC, who described the exercise as free, fair, and credible. Now, you have asserted outrightly that there was nothing free, fair, or credible about the elections. Tell us about how ADC fared in the local government polls. I'm sure you are unsatisfied, but do you think that there are loopholes where perhaps your own party did not fill up, and that caused the situation that we see on ground now?
My brother, we did not contest the election. I wrote a letter on the 5th of October to the ABSEC, indicating our interest to withdraw from the election. And one of the reasons I gave was the way and manner that we have seen that the election will turn out to be. Like I said, you cannot establish legality on the foundation of illegality. From the ad initio, everything about the Abia State local government election was treated in secrecy and in illegality. Democratically, this tenets of democracy were not followed and complied. So there's no way you will elect people, democratically without following the tenets of democracy. So for me, the election never held in Abia State. Like I said, if it's democracy, it is democracy. If it's not democracy, it is not democracy. The ABSEC chairman was appointed by the governor. You don't expect the ABSEC chairman to come and say that, oh, we conducted a charade in the name of local government election. That would mess him up. Of course, he has to praise the process of that election, so give some credibility to himself. But despite the same justification, it does not still mean that the election was credible. Again, I want to say here authoritatively that there was no election. People were handpicked and result written, and they were fostered on us. How will you say there was election when people voted and there was no result sheet to impute the outcome of the election? So who wrote the result that was presented to the people? There was no election for crying out loud. A lot of people, not only ADC, even the APC, withdrew from the election. If the ruling party in the national can withdraw from a local government election being conducted by the state governor, then you will see, or maybe that will give you insight into what I'm saying here. There was no election in Abia State. The ABSEC chairman, again, do not expect we are not going to expect anything different from what has been happening. Let me even shock you, my brother. Do you know that even as this election we were preparing to go to this election, the Abia State governor also went to the House of Assembly, and they secretly passed a bill that is mandating this local government chairman to relinquish 90% of the jack given to them into his particular joint account. What that simply means that as a local government chairman, elected local government chairman, you will not do anything. You can only pay salaries. Once you identify a need, probably maybe a kilometer road where you think you want to work on, you will now indicate, tell the governor, they will list contractors and money to that place, and they will do the road without your contribution. How will you say that these guys are going to?
And this bill done is not a public bill. It was something the governor secretly did at the House of Assembly.
Yes, he did it. Even when the Nigerian Labour Congress heard of it, they wrote a letter to the leadership of the House of Assembly at the state, and advising them on the danger of implementing such bill. But what he simply did was to rename it, rephrase it, and still pass it. Now I'm waiting to see what will happen when this local government, elected local government chairman, assume office. Then if we confirm that was exactly what happened, I will write to the CBN. And not only me, a lot of people have been also indicated interest to write to the CBN. What we have in Abia State right now is a government that do not listen to the people, a government that does things the way it feels right to do. That is not democracy, my brother. Am I optimistic about changes in Abia State? Certainly no. I'm not optimistic. Like I said before, you cannot give birth to legality on the foundation of illegality. Everything in Abia State, everything that happened on Saturday was a sham. There was no election in Abia State. I mentioned something here. There was a fraction between the deputy governor and Abia State House of Assembly member representing his own constituency. That man, the House of Assembly member, was beaten up and locked up in the police cell as I speak to you. Unless he was released last night, as I speak to you, he is still in the police detention as we speak. How can somebody wake up in the morning and tell us that the election was free and fair and credible? If it was free and fair, then the question is, why was the House of Assembly member beaten? Who bullied him? Who beat him? Who assaulted him? Who arrested him? Why was he in detention? These are the questions we have to ask. And I want to tell you, my brother, the journalists in Abia State will definitely do their work. They will want to do their work. But when you have a government that want to gag them, that want to suborn them, that want to ensure that the true picture or what actually happened on Saturday will never be published, it leaves much to be desired. That is why I'm here on the national television saying that people should not just take whatever thing they read on the pages of newspaper. What happened in Abia State on Saturday was something that has never happened anywhere in the world before, even in Abia State. Even the old Abia we refer to during the time of the PDP, it never happened that the local government election was conducted without a result sheet. Now, if there was absence of result sheet, the ABSEC officials did not come to the polling unit result sheet. Where did they get the figure that they announced to the world? That is the question I think Governor Lesoti and the ABSEC chairman should answer to the public.
Well done, Norman. You have quite rightfully sent your point home. Let me revisit your statement earlier about the governor secretly passing a bill to the State House of Assembly where local government council chairmen would have to remit about 95% of allocations back to the coffers of the state government. Is this legal in any way? And don't you think perhaps it's a reversal of the already granted autonomy given to local government councils? That on one hand. Then secondly, I also want to know your position on the local government autonomy as the state chairman of ADC. Is the ADC for LG autonomy?
Yes, it's a welcome development. Without the autonomy of the local government, there is no way development will get to the grassroots. Like I keep saying, if I had left Abia State in 1980, I will return this year, I will simply walk back to my village without missing road. Nothing has happened in Abia State since the inception of democracy. And unless this government is this government that came with a lot of hope, a lot of promises, to do things the right way. But what have we seen in the past 18 months? What we have seen is nothing to compare to what had happened in the past. So, for me, the only way we can talk about meaningful development in Abia State is allowing the local government chairman the access to their fund to ensure that democracy gets to the grassroots. For example, if the local government is functional, I wouldn't have any business to go to the governor's office. What am I going there to do when I know that the local government chairman is there to cut off the need of the people? I give you an example. My own local government, or my not local government, receives in the north of 500 million naira every month on jack allocation. Now, that's about 6 billion naira in a year. And if you bury, let's say 3 billion naira in Omaya, not local government, you will see it. Definitely you will see it. How much does it cost to construct a kilometer of road? A kilometer of road, if we walkways, street light, what have you, it's about 450 million naira. Julius Berger price is about 750 million naira. So you can imagine what 3 billion or actually 4 billion or 2 billion we do in road construction in Omaya, not local government. I tell you, since 1980 that I was a child, till this moment, what we have in that state, the road we still apply are those roads built by Mbakwe and some military administration. What this last government and what the previous government and the present government of Dr. Lesoti government is doing is to patch them. Now my question is, why are we doing this? The roads you are patching were constructed by somebody. Why can't you construct your own? It is a shame that in the past 24 years, counting, there is no governor of Abia State who has constructed a road. And Governor Lesoti has also joined in that league. When you go to social media, you see people talk about development, how Abia State has become an Eldorado, how everything is working. There is nothing working in Abia State. There is no project that has been started and completed by this administration. Quote me. You're a journalist. You can come to my...
Don Norman, this is your statement as a member of an opposition party within Abia State. There is also somebody else from Abia State that is here with us on the line talking about Sampson Eze. Now, Sampson, you have heard from Don Norman about the development in your state. Let's talk about two things that he mentioned here. One, being the fact that the governor went behind everybody's back and, made an amendment to the electoral laws in the state, where it made it mandatory for elections to be held within 30 days or so, and instead of the 90-day period for preparations. That is one. And then secondly, he asserted that the governor secretly sent a bill again to the House of Assembly where it said that local government council chairmen would have to remit 95% of allocations given to them by the federal government back to the coffers of the state government. I know you don't speak for the governor, but in your position as a public affairs analyst, how would you react to some of these allegations leveled on the governor by Don Norman?
Well, firstly, I've said that the issue of the bill, the executive bill, the purported executive bill that is supposed to mandate the local government to make remittance to a certain fund, a certain purse for joint projects, had been debunked by the State Assembly. And the governor had said there is nothing like that. And so far, no bill of that nature, except the ramp bill that has been passed here, to the best of my knowledge. That's the much I know about that very issue. Then the autonomy, I said we are watching in terms of development and what is happening around here. I think the government is doing whatever they should be doing as a government at the moment. Don Norman spoke from an opposition point of view, which is understandable. I don't speak for the government. It is his job to hold the government to account. But I tell you that there is a leap from. There is a progress in Abia State. At least you have a viable opposition that can hold the government to account, just like my friend Don Norman is doing, and ADC members, just like other parties. They are holding the government to account on a daily basis. They are interrogating government expenditures. They are interrogating every activity. They are questioning, they are scrutinizing the government. And it puts the government on its toes, which is fantastic. We didn't have that in the past year. We had just one man opposition, which was the governor. The governor was the opposition of the former administrations for a long time. For here you have multiple opposition fronts, and I think it's something we should celebrate. Development, infrastructure, yes, a lot of roads have been flagged off. The opposition members have issues with the openness of the governor in terms of the funds being used, mapped out for this project. A road is flagged off and the governor doesn't tell you how much. I think it's a worry for the civil society organizations. It's a worry for the opposition members who are clamoring for transparency. Quite understandable. But are there progress? I tell you, some things are happening here. At least we see business of government go on smoothly. Civil servants who were owed salaries are being paid. Yes, I can admit that. They are being paid. That shouldn't be an achievement. It's given. But the previous administrations made it look like one big achievement. But then some people are still being owed. There is an issue with the pensioners. When the governor says he has cleared, the pensioners are saying, no, you have not cleared. So it's all there. It's in the business of body of governance generally. So nothing spectacular apart outside what is happening in other states. I tell you, it's the general governance issues that you can get in Akwa Ibom, you can get in Enugu, or even in Kaduna or Lagos that we are having here. And we are grateful as someone on the outside that we have a vibrant opposition that is questioning the government every day.
All right, Mr. Sampson Eze, I must thank you so much for finding the time to join us virtually and share your thoughts with us on the just concluded local government polls in your state. It's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well, coming back to you, Don Norman Obinna, in just 1 minute, let me get your concluding thoughts on the local government polls and what the future looks like for the people of Abia State in general, in just 60 seconds.
Well, I'm not trying to be, this thing here. Let me just say the way it is. There is no future for Abia people as we speak right now. I understand my brother, Sampson, is trying to, be, how would I put it, use diplomacy to, give his narration. The truth of the matter is that we have the governor who is not even tolerant. Sampson is a manager of a radio station, Flow radio station in Abia State. So I wouldn't be surprised if after this program, if he says something on the contrary, and after this program, they will go there and seal up the radio station. It's possible. The truth of the matter is that nothing has changed in Abia State. We have a government of the day that are so economical with the truth. The minimum wage is there. The governor went to radio stations and everyone announced that the workers have received their minimum wage, but it is not true. He also went to say that he has cleared pension areas, and the pensioners came out to say it is not true. Rather, they are being forced to, let go to or write off their arrears. That is the kind of government to have. Do not take, like I said, and I want to say for the last time, do not take everything you heard from Abia State government to your pocket. The government of Abia State lies a lot. I'm sorry to use this word. That is what it is. We have to put this government in check. Abians to rise to the direct challenges of democracy and elitism. We are in dictatorial regime, and that is what we are facing in Abia State. Thank you.
All right, Don Norman Obinna, I must thank you so much as well. It's been quite a very robust conversation, and I hope that stakeholders, much like yourself, who have listened or watched this program, will also take the initiative to be very vocal about the happenings in your state, just like yourself. So thank you so much. Well, those have been Mr. Obinna Norman, Don Obinna Norman, as well as Mr. Sampson Eze from Umuahia, the Abia State capital, sharing their thoughts with us on the recently concluded local government polls in the state. A very controversial situation there in Abia State. We'll be taking a look at what will unfold in the coming months as perhaps the governor might exit the Labour Party, but of course he has asserted that he will and will always remain a member of the LP in Nigeria. That's the much time will permit us to take on this segment of Morning Express, but there is still more to come. As after this break, Samuel Adeleke will be joining us in